Hello, I'm Dudley Thompson, and welcome again to WDT Media TV. And again, please like, share, and subscribe. And today's show is about sports. Yes, sports spectrum here inside WDT Media TV. And today's program, it's about the Reggae Boys, currently playing in two tournaments, the Gold Cup, and also playing in the FIFA CONCACAF World Cup qualifiers. But as we speak right now, they played in their World Cup match and they got off to a good start in that event when they beat Guatemala by 3 goals to nil. But come in the Gold Cup, Guatemala turned the tables on the Reggae Boys with a 1-0 win in the tournament. And this now put the boys in a spot of bother in the Gold Cup, and they no need to beat Guadeloupe to have a chance of making it to the quarterfinal. Result of game so far in the Gold Cup. Yes, Guatemala beat Jamaica by a goal to the first ever win by Guatemala in the Gold Cup. And the first win was Jamaica in about 13 years. Yes, Guatemala beat Jamaica. And the team, many say is a top team in the region, our emerging team in football, that's Curacao. Yes, with their Dutch players. They and El Salvador. They played out 2-0 scoreline. A big win came for Canada when they beat Honduras. Hmm. Yes, Canada beat Honduras by six goals to nil in their encounter. So a good win there for these teams. In other matches so far, we see where Trinidad and Tobago. No, that's other games to come. I should argue. In other games on for today, Costa Rica will take on Dominican Republic, and Suriname will play Mexico. Trinidad and Tobago will play Haiti tomorrow, and USA will play Saudi Arabia. But the big talking point now is the Reggae Boys that match up against Guatemala and how they fared in that encounter when they went by a goal. You're going to hear now from the coach, McLaren, about the encounter, and also hear from some Jamaican football experts about their thoughts about Jamaica in the Gold Cup and also their thoughts about Jamaica in the World Cup draw. Now we're going on to the post-game press conference, the small screen, to the post-game press conference and hear from the Reggae Boys coach. And he spoke in the post-match press conference.
Their space by touching the raise your hand button. We will now open the floor for questions. Yes.
Nick Webster, Inside World Football. Coach, what do you think the difference was in mentality between the World Cup qualifying game and today?
I think a massive difference. I think ultimately that's always the thing that wins a game. And we expected a reaction from Guatemala after the other night. We would do exactly the same. That's what we said to all the players. Friday, we need a reaction. We knew they'd come at us. We knew they'd be aggressive. I thought the atmosphere was great. It was obviously against us, but that was a test for our team. And I think they credit, because with the crowd behind them, I think they fought like lions. They really had a big desire to win that game, to win the duels, to be aggressive, to really be in our face. And we got through the first 30 minutes, but we switched off just for a moment. Didn't deal with quite a simple ball and went a goal down, and it's always going to be difficult then. And with something to hold on to, that's what they did. We knocked at the door. We did everything we possibly could. We had crosses going in the box. We had efforts on goal. They had blocks, they shots, and for them, it's a perfect response from the other night from us. It isn't. What we've got to do now is turn that around and make sure that we react on Friday and make sure that we prepare properly. And really the reaction is we have to win on Friday and a little bit impose ourselves and make sure we do.
Coach Jose Adrian Duran with Futbolando, what would the focus be on the training pitch heading into Friday, and what would the emphasis be that you would try to go ahead and fix for the game on Friday?
I think it's the key word in every game at the beginning. You have to have an aggressive mentality that overcomes everything. So when you're the underdog, which obviously after the first result, Guatemala felt that, and they performed like underdogs. They fought like mad. We have to do the same. So people talk a lot about tactics and this formation, that formation. It's about players and it's about being aggressive, winning duels, getting the basics right. And credit to Guatemala, that's, they must have been seething after that first game, you could see that. And I thought we'd coped and dealt with it. And once you go down, the first goal's always important. They had something to fight for and hold on for, the blocks, the headers, the clearances that they had. We tried, but the first 20 minutes was so important. We've got to make that the first 20 minutes ours in every game.
Hi, Coach. Tyler Wise from Underway. Antonio got some playing time at the end of the game there. How was it to see him finally back on the pitch?
It's, we said he trained with us 2 weeks ago in London. We said then it was a miracle. And he's trained 2 days with us and he's come on the field and, that's, from where he was after the accident to be playing, to be walking is a miracle. So we're delighted. We need that kind of leadership. We'll build up his fitness as much as we possibly can. So it was good to get him minutes on the field. It didn't turn into a fairy tale. He didn't score.
Hi, Steve. John Arnold here. I wonder if you could share your impressions in general of what it's been like in CONCACAF. This is your first Gold Cup game. You mentioned the atmosphere. Now you go into a game where we expect the atmosphere will be quite different. How do you prepare your players not only for the Gold Cup vibe of sometimes it's full of Guatemalan fans, maybe next time it's more Jamaican fans and Guadeloupe fans, we'll see obviously, but also in World Cup qualification where there's quite different atmospheres. Kingston is very different than Guatemala, which is very different from Santo Domingo. How have you found it, and how have you kind of managed those challenges?
Yeah, it's, from the first day I arrived, this has certainly been an education for me in terms of everything, the culture within the island of Jamaica, and getting used to the different types of surface that we come across in the Caribbean. That's been a challenge. We've had these kind of games a few times. We had Honduras away. We had Nicaragua away. Hostile atmospheres. I think it's great. And I think we were talking about it earlier, what I see. There's never an easy game in this CONCACAF. The South American teams are really aggressive, very good technique. The Caribbean teams are very strong, powerful, a little like ourselves. The football is totally different, and we have to adapt to that. I've loved every game. This has been a great challenge. And we knew this one would be exactly like it was. We saw them beat the Dominican Republic when they had to, 2-1 down at half time. So we know they're fighters. We know they never give in. And that's what they did tonight. And we couldn't overcome that challenge. But I got to say, I think the top teams. I think the rest of the Caribbean and in CONCACAF as well, teams are catching up. Teams are catching up, and that's I was involved in the plan with FIFA 3-4 years ago in terms of analysing countries, and we talked about one of the biggest keys to developing countries and narrowing the gap between the top and the bottom was coaching. Coach the coaches, you make better players, and I think that's what the region has done. CONCACAF, it's certainly no easy games. Everybody now is coached very well. Even the smaller teams defensively are hard to break down, well organised. So I think the football is narrowing from top to bottom. So we will see in this competition. Again, there's no easy games.
Thank you, John. Let's take a virtual question. Jason Hall, go ahead.
Yes, Jason Guna TV here. Coach, just wanted to ask about a few players that I didn't see in the lineup tonight. And I just wanted to get some clarity on the status of Mason Holgate and Isaac Hayden moving forward in the tournament, as they were not named tonight on the squad.
Yeah, unfortunately, Isaac, he came down with stomach cramps and respiratory problems before the BVI game. He didn't play in the BVI game. We pushed him to play against Guatemala, and after the game he complained of, again, stomach cramps and respiratory problems. We investigated and found that we had to send him home, and we replaced him with Kiroy Anderson, who hopefully will come in today. The other one, Mason Holgate, got a knee injury against Guatemala, and upon a scan, the medial ligament was just not much of a problem, but he wouldn't be fit for 2 or 3 weeks. So we sent him home and replacing him with Sulai McKellar from Mount Pleasant. So that's why they weren't involved.
Thank you, Jason. The last question we'll take is from Matthew McAnuff-Jones. Go ahead.
Good evening, Coach. Commiserations.
Good evening.
Isaac Hayden's injury, it was a big blow for the team today. He has the ability to play his back to the same tempo. How did his injury affect the team in position today, and how do you plan to adjust moving forward, given that he's not available?
Isaac Hayden is not in the squad. How do you plan to address this moving forward?
That 6 has always been a problem. I know in the past we've had Damien in there, who defensively is, as we saw today, and I thought we needed today in there was some aggression and someone who could break up play. He certainly did that on a few occasions. So we looked at that, and we do have a problem in that position. I think Latz came in the second half, did very well in that. Great attitude, but we certainly do. So yeah, that is a problem. We always know that when we don't have Isaac, so it's a big loss. But we have to deal with that, and somebody has to step in and step forward, take the mantle, and help the team in that position.
Good evening, everyone.
All right, and that was the press conference there you heard from the Reggae Boys coach, Steve McLaren, and how Jamaica performed so badly. against Guatemala. And the big question is about, let's talk about it at 6. Yes, and Jamaica have a long-term problem in football. We come on to the midfield players. If you look at the game from a tactical point of view, there are too many gaps between Jamaica's defense, Jamaica four and the back four and the middle. And the Guatemalan exploited that space was left between Jamaica and between the defense and the middle. And they had Damian Lowe as a 6. But Damian Lowe is normally a central defender. And there was no played a bit too high. And in most time it was like in the wrong place at the wrong time. It was taken out of the game because it was playing his customary centre back position. It was more playing like a defensive midfielder. And it's not his natural playing game. So Damian Lowe was a bit off in that game. And again, so the players weren't playing in what they're accustomed to play. And again, Guatemala, after that first loss to Jamaica, they did their homework. But Jamaica, on the other hand, changed the formation and worked against Jamaica. Defensively, we were off. The forwards was like they were isolated up front. So Jamaica need to pull up their socks for the other round, and hopefully we can get the better of Guadeloupe and then advance to the other round. If you look at the Gold Cup, actually, and Jamaica need to win the other game. Look at the standings now. So over there in Jamaica's in Group C in the Gold Cup with Panama, Guatemala, and Guadeloupe. And so far, Guatemala and Panama, they are both on 3 points. And Jamaica and Guadeloupe are pointless at this point in time. And the top 2 teams from each group advance to the other round. And right now, Jamaica is in a spot of bother because Jamaica need to win their next match to have a chance of making the quarterfinals. A draw against Guadeloupe will not be enough. At least Jamaica need 3 points. No, sorry. Jamaica need 4 points from 2 games to at least have a chance of going through to the other round, which is the quarterfinals. Right now, we are at 1 game and no point. And Panama and Guatemala both on 3 points from 1 game. And we look at the goal difference, so to speak. Panama, they have a +3. Guatemala, a +1. And Jamaica have a -1. So Jamaica need to at least score some goals. Jamaica need to score some goals. A 1-0 win might not be enough if you come down to goal difference. Because currently, we're at -1. So that's what Jamaica now needs, again, to get at least 4 points from 2 games to have a chance of coming out of this group C in the Gold Cup. So again, we're rooting for Jamaica to get the better of Guadeloupe in that game because it'll be hard to see Jamaica going out in the first round of the Gold Cup. And this could be a good test for Jamaica as we had to qualify for the next World Cup. That's a different tournament altogether. But now the Gold Cup should be the ground where the coach can see who can actually fill out the players and see who best suit where before you go into the World Cup qualifiers. You have to know your team from now before you go to the qualifiers for the World Cup. Because now it's Jamaica now in a spot of bother. Alright, the other groups now. In Group A, Costa Rica is up front with 3 points. Sorry, with 3 points, yes. And Mexico both on 3 points. Dominica and Suriname are pointless at this point in time. In Group B, Canada is currently on 6 points from 6 to Canada is on 3 points from 1 win. Curacao and El Salvador 1 point each because they play to a draw. And El Salvador is currently in Jamaica's group to qualify for the World Cup now. So Curacao is seen as the emerging team from the Caribbean, and they could be a thorn in Jamaica's flesh in the group in the World Cup. Because that's the group on very shortly. As you know, Group D is USA, Saudi Arabia, Haiti, and Trinidad and Tobago. And Haiti is the only team from the Caribbean to win this tournament. Then it was called CONCACAF Championships. And Haiti won it in 1973 before it became the Gold Cup. So Haiti is the only team from the Caribbean to win this tournament. It was called CONCACAF Football Tournament then, not the Gold Cup then, back in 1973. So hats off to Haiti. They are now currently struggling at the moment. And they saw USA and Saudi Arabia on 3 points each. Haiti and Trinidad and Tobago is yet to get a point so far in the Gold Cup. And wow, and some Jamaican fans are really getting in the action when they come out to Gold Cup and World Cup qualifiers about these teams. And we are still hoping that we can see some improvement from from Myrna, who was kind of surprised when Jamaica lost in the Gold Cup, and she was, let me take that back. Myrna from Maho Drive, or Meyer from Maho Drive, and she gave her thoughts on Jamaica's loss in that Gold Cup.
It's full time for Jamaica pull up them socks now, man. Full time, man. Long time they live this, you know. So what am I going? We don't make what I'm all beat them boys. Gotta give them 1 year. No, man. Shame on it, man. They should have done something about this, brother. Love to see where my country they go. I don't want to see my country go down, you know. Let's up on ourselves. Reggae boys put out the best when we don't have much to play. Focus. Stay focused, man. As we need it, man. We need to see.
And that's actually Myra from Maho Drive in Jamaica in South St. Andrew. All right, and we'll switch now to the other one at hand, which is the qualify for the World Cup. And as you all know by now, Jamaica is drawn in Group B alongside Curacao, Trinidad and Tobago, and Bermuda. And the first time I can see a qualifying group with all the Caribbean teams. And some may argue that it's a suit draw for Jamaica. But the fact is that football is not played on paper, it's played on the pitch. The draw might look good for Jamaica on paper, but when you go on the pitch, it could be a different story. Example, 1970 World Cup draw, Brazil was expected to advance from the group stage, 1970. Every expert said Brazil will not come out of that group. And yet, guess what? They went on to win the World Cup in 1970, despite what expecting to advance from the group. After they had a bad World Cup in '66, when they couldn't pass the first round, and they advance and win the tournament. So, as we say, some say the ball is round. I don't know what that means. I don't use that phrase. When Jamaica qualified for World Cup 1980, the ball was round. Jamaica failed to qualify. Sorry, Jamaica qualified for World Cup 1998. At that time, the ball was round. We failed in 2002. The ball was round. We failed in 2006. The ball was round. We failed 2010. The ball was still round. We failed 2014. The ball was still round. 2018. The ball was round. 2002. The ball is still round. And 2020 and 2025 qualified 26 World Cup, we're trying to qualify and the ball is still round. So I don't know what they say the ball round mean. You qualify one time the ball is round and you also failed when the ball is round. So the ball is round to me don't mean anything. Just what you do on those days in those games, that's what matters. So Jamaica is against Curacao, Trinidad and Tobago, and Bermuda, and we did get a reaction from some Jamaicans about the draw, and from Darrington Ferguson, doing the park football coach, and he's also the councillor for the Papi division for the People's National Party. Let's hear now from Darrington Ferguson giving us his view on the World Cup draw.
Jamaica was definitely advance in this group. You can see the coach that we have now have taken the whole entire team and players at another level, and you will actually see the best performance since 1998 as a team, and you will see the level of the players, both internationally and our local players. Levels will be rise to meet the competition that they will face. It will be a good tournament, a good playoff. We just need to get behind the boys and support them. Important to have that 12-man support. And therefore, we just have to believe in them and move forward.
That there was Darrington Ferguson, president of the Dwayne Park Football Club, and is also the PNP Councillor for the Papine Division. And he's saying Jamaica should qualify for the World Cup. And he said this could be one of the best performance since 1998. Here they're from Darrington Ferguson there for you. And he spoke. But here now from a Jamaican, yes, Eunice view on that issue again.
Wow, the teams in this group are really a godsend. Jamaica could not have wished for an easier group. So it's up to us now to just take this opportunity with both hands.
Wow, it is a godsend because the first time in qualifiers we saw all Caribbean teams in one group. And the argument is that Jamaica so top the Caribbean, but not so as in former years, because I said to you earlier, Curacao have a strong Dutch connection in their team, and they are an emerging team on the world scene. So Curacao, Trinidad and Tobago, maybe a notch down that we know for them over the years, but Curacao and Jamaica, in my view, are the two teams that should advance from this group. Curacao and Jamaica, I should say, should advance from this group. But Trinidad and Tobago is not the team we see from yesteryear. But a godsend, let's wait and see, because although in my mind say Caribbean team must qualify, I said to you earlier, football doesn't play on paper. It is played on the field of play. David Wint also gave his views about the draw.
I am David Wint. After watching the first round of this competition, I truly believe Jamaica have a very good chance of getting back to the World Cup. However, they're going to have to get the unnecessary dribbling under control and use the ball, utilize the spaces, stop playing so defensive, attack as a team and defend as a team. From the matches that I've watched, they are playing passive and too defensive. That gives the opponent time to gather themselves to attack. Meanwhile, the Jamaica is playing a one-man or a two-man forward that won't succeed against Trinidad and Tobago, Bermuda and
Curacao.
And Curacao. I think they should win those matches. But with Trinidad and Tobago, they're going to have to be a complete game. They have to come with a complete game plan to win the zone. But yeah, if they stop all this unnecessary dribbling, utilize the whole field, attack as a team and defend as a team, they should be all right.
A good point there by David Wint about the dribbling. That's true. Dribbling and lose the ball don't make any sense. And again, as I said to you earlier, the team is too defensive. I agree with Wint on that point. The team is too defensive, and we don't play much of the midfield. That's why I lost the match to Guatemala earlier. Guatemala control the middle. There's too much gap between our back four and the middle. Too much gap. So when the defense come under pressure and win the ball. The midfield is too far to at least assist in that create an attack. So again, and then over dribbling and losing the ball is also a factor. But what I don't agree with Wind is about Trinidad and Tobago. I think that it's between Jamaica and Curacao, not Jamaica and Trinidad. But let's wait and see. That's my opinion. And based on what I'm seeing from Curacao team, it's an emerging team in the Caribbean. And I think this encounter, again, the top two teams advance. No. Let's qualify. Let's get the facts. The winner advanced to the World Cup directly, and the second place team to go to the Intercontinental Playoff. So again, the winner advanced to the World Cup directly from the group, and the second place team will go to an Intercontinental Playoff to go to the World Cup. So once Jamaica win this group, they're gone to the World Cup to be held in USA, Mexico, and Canada. It's a rumor going around that FIFA took matches from America. It's not true. All right, so don't follow that rule. It's not true. But FIFA take back so much for America. No, America, Trinidad, Jamaica, Canada, and Mexico are the three countries that are hosting the World Cup. So FIFA don't take back any match from USA. So don't follow those rumors you see going around online. All right, so that's it. So again, the group again. Some say Super Jamaica, Curacao, Trinidad and Tobago, and the Bermuda are the three teams so far in this group. And we're going to hear from other persons, including a former reggae boy. Yeah, man. A former reggae boy also gave his views on Jamaica's chances of making the group. Before we go to reggae boy, hear now from Daryl San Grant from Jamaica, upcoming young artist. Here's Daryl Grant San.
Most definitely, yes. All we need is just the support of the entire country behind the team. Nothing impossible.
That was Daryl San Grant say not impossible for Jamaica to go back to the World Cup in 2026. Now we hear from a reggae boy. A past reggae boy, yeah man, Gregory Messam. He was part of the squad in 1998. Yeah man, Gregory Messam. Let's hear from Messam giving his take on this encounter.
Jamaica. Sir W, how are you doing, sir? Hope all is well. Yes, of course, we can qualify for this, yeah? For me, I strongly we and Trinidad can lead this group, yeah. And the quality we have and the determination, this could be the team that we could see actually like qualify after 1988. We have other teams that get that close, but it can't get better than this. This is the closest it's going to be. So I'm rally for them to pull this one through. And I know the nation also are rally with them as well. And I know you and other media houses also can't wait to anticipate and participate in the 2026 World Cup when these guys make it. So yes, I strongly believe they can. There's no doubt about it. And as I said, as a former player, no matter who out there now representing and we just have to support them. And wish them all the best. Jamaica!
You heard there from Gregory Messam. Yeah man, he was part of the setup in 1998. And I think he lost his spot to Billy Gardner. Yes, Reggae Messam there just lost his place to Billy Gardner, who came in the team as a young player from Bulmers High School then, and Reggae Messam was also there too. So Messam is saying that Jamaica should be there. Yes. And what say you? So Jamaica should be there at this time around. So again, it's the 2026 World Cup in USA, Canada, and Mexico. And the big talking point is that the Jamaican contingent, the Jamaican setup, some say it's a soup draw, I say on paper, right? I say to you again, football is not played on paper. So draw might look easy on paper, but when it comes to the field of play, it's a different story from what's on paper. And again, the coach need to get it right this time around. The coach need to have his best players available, put the players in the right positions, so that we can get the best result. Well, the good thing though, this group though, we win our first game in the qualifiers. We won our first game. So again, so Jamaica does need to win our game to qualify for the group. That's the good part so far. But we yet to play matches in the Group B in the World Cup against us, Curacao, Jamaica, Trinidad and Tobago, and Bermuda. And people are looking for a Jamaica and Trinidad to top the group. But I'm saying Jamaica and Curacao, right? Because Curacao, they're not known as a football powerhouse because they are an emerging team. And the way how Jamaica have these English-based players, Curacao have the Dutch-based players, and they're really a strong team. Overseas-based players, they're from the Holland, the Dutch side of the continent, and so these players are really good players in the Curacao team. So Curacao could emerge as a powerhouse in the Caribbean in the very near future. So again, if you want to, you can give us a call if you want to participate in the tournament in the program, and give us your take. Yeah, give us your take about this particular group. It's a swoop group, so Jamaica does have things easy and does easy walk in the park to the World Cup. I don't think so. Jamaica have to play. Not because it's all a Caribbean zone, mean that Jamaica should just walk and win the World Cup. No, not at all like that. It's really gonna be how Jamaica perform on the day or on the days. They are home and away matches in the tournament, and it's what happened there in those days, in those games actually, how Jamaica can really make an impact in this one. So again, I will say to you on a program that football in Jamaica, some may say the national team, but if Jamaica need to really have a good football program, they need to start build young players from scratch. Again, relying on English-based players with Jamaican parentage who can qualify to play for Jamaica. And that to me is just like a quick fix thing. But because we start building young players from scratch like other countries in say South America and Europe, all these countries actually build their players through nursery, and they group them properly, and then now they became household names wherever they go. All right, again, and in the other groups there in the World Cup, we see where in Group A it is Panama, El Salvador, Guatemala, and Suriname. And I think Panama should win this group and then qualify for the World Cup. I think Panama should be in Group A and qualify for the World Cup. So Panama, El Salvador, Guatemala, and Suriname are in Group A. Then Group B, group B already, Jamaica, Curacao, Trinidad, and Bermuda. And Jamaica should top that group, but good fight from Curacao. Group C is Costa Rica, Honduras, Haiti, and Nicaragua. And I'm tipping Costa Rica to top this group. And not sure about because Honduras get a big beating from USA from Canada 6-0 in the Gold Cup. So I'm not sure about the Honduras quality of this particular team. Haiti is not the team of yesteryear, but the second place could be up for grabs. But for this Group C, I'm seeing Costa Rica booking their spot to the World Cup directly, alongside Jamaica from Group B, with Curacao going to the playoffs, and Group A, Panama should have been this group with a good Guatemala or El Salvador batting for that playoff spot to go to the World Cup. So it's going to be a good going so far with these teams as we look at the qualifiers for the World Cup. And we should also tell you that Brazil has not qualified for. There'll be some talk recently that Brazil was in danger of not going to the World Cup, but they don't qualify for the World Cup. And history was created. The first time in Brazil history, they've been coached by a foreign coach, Ancelotti. Yes, the first time in Brazil history, they've been coached by a non-Brazilian. The first time. And for the record, no team in the World Cup ever won a cup with a foreign coach. So if Brazil was to win next year's World Cup with Ancelotti, it'll be the first time in football history that a team won the World Cup with a foreign coach. Let's wait and see if that history could be realized if Brazil win the World Cup. But no team has won the cup with a foreign coach. And Brazil could be the first team to break that record. They won their first game with a foreign coach. So Ancelotti took the team, was struggling in the qualifiers, and they're now gone to the World Cup. And hopefully they can go from strength to strength and be a force. We can know Brazil is a force in world football. Argentina are defending champions. We all know by now. And with the outstanding Lionel Messi. Yeah, man, but it won't be playing this time around. I say retired from international football. But Argentina will have to defend the cup without Messi. And we're going to see how they will fare without the great Messi there from Argentina, and Brazil will be there as well. This World Cup will be going to be very interesting because I will tell you earlier, it's been in 3 different countries for the first time in 3 countries, and one in 2030 will be hosted by 6 countries. So FIFA has really put in the host the World Cup now spread across continents. 6 countries will host the World Cup in 2020 into 2030, but now it will be hosted by 3 countries: Canada, USA, and Mexico. Mexico hosted World Cup before 1970 and I think 86. Yes, USA hosted in 94, but Canada they have also World Cup on their own, so they are now a co-host with 2 countries. But USA and Mexico have experience of hosting the cup in former years. So it'll be a good result again. And Jamaica qualified for the first time in 1998. That was the year when Jamaica had a big celebration, and the Prime Minister PJ Patterson, and he gave a public holiday that time around. All right, let's see. I see we'll take a call there. We'll take a call there. You're live on air. Hello. Oh, the call us ended. Or the call ended. All right. All right. The call just ended a short while ago, but we can take some more call there. All right. And yes, I will say that Jamaica qualified for World Cup in 1998, and that time they played 3 games, and they play first game. I think the first game they lost to Croatia in the first game. They lost to Argentina, and then they beat Japan in a game of academic interest with more scoring both goals. And the memory there for Jamaica, 1988 World Cup. But we've never been back there since. But those are the best chance of going back to the greatest show on earth, the FIFA World Cup football tournament. All right, and hopefully we can see some of the outstanding talent there from the Caribbean that could go places in the World Cup. All right, kids, as we continue inside Sports Spectrum, we're giving you some more update here on the Gold Cup as well, as to give you a quick rundown of the games to come in the Gold Cup. And before we go again, looking at the Gold Cup and some of the games to come, and the game we can look forward to in this tournament. Mm-hmm. All right, getting not to the games to come in the World Cup, in the Gold Cup actually. And today is Costa Rica again, Dominican Republic today, and then Suriname will take on Mexico, and tomorrow it's Saudi Arabia against USA, and that game is on for you on tomorrow. So these are games scheduled so far in the Gold Cup, right? And hopefully we can see the Jamaica getting some really much practice for the World Cup, because the teams here in Jamaica group in the Gold Cup, so they argue, are tougher than the teams in the World Cup. So it should be a blessing for Jamaica to play against Central American teams, in preparation for the Caribbean teams to go into the Gold Cup. Not the other way around, but different this time. Some may say a blessing, according to their Mr. Win, a blessing for Jamaica to get such a group when they come on to the World Cup, all the Caribbean teams in one group. But that going to be that it won't be a walk in the park, as many may assume because they are Caribbean teams, but they are good Caribbean teams. So don't disrespect the Caribbean teams, but they are good. So what it would not be a walk in the park for Jamaica, but Jamaica will have to come good. And I don't expect Jamaica to go to World Cup again and play 3 games and come back home. At least should aiming for a second one berth. Like our female World Cup team earlier went to the second round and lost and penalties in the second round. So at least if Jamaica can go to round 2 to be a big boost for Jamaica, I can just qualify for the World Cup and then play 3 games and come back home, right? Try to aim for a round 2, but this can depend on the draw or the luck of the draw. So may argue we will draw against one European team, one South American team, and African team away from CONCACAF. That could be the draw. So the luck of the draw could determine. Last time we draw against Argentina, Croatia, and Japan. So there's one South American, a European, and an Asian team we played last World Cup. And we lost to both Argentina and Croatia and beat Japan when it only came of academic interest. So hopefully again we can see Jamaica getting a good draw, and luckily this time can make it out of the group. Hopefully that could be the aim for the coach. That does go there and play 3 games and come back home. Try to make it out of the group in the World Cup. So alright, and that's what we're gonna wind down Sports Spectrum for today. When we come back later on, we talk politics. So have for yourselves a wonderful day today as we wind down tomorrow at 2 o'clock. Looking at Craig Oates. And we're going to have the War Lady. The War Lady on tomorrow. Craig Oates, jump ship. So that'll be on for you tomorrow. Don't miss it. Craig Oates jump ship from the PNP and going to the GLP. And he's talking some stuff that could hurt the PNP at the polls. So that's tomorrow. Alright, so that's how we end the show for today. I'm Dudley Thompson again. Please like, share, and subscribe and root for the Reggae Boys. Right? Root for the Reggae Boys as they are planning to qualify for the second FIFA World Cup. Hopefully they can come out of this group. All Caribbean group, we told you earlier. Jamaica, Curacao, Trinidad and Tobago, and Bermuda. And it's an all Caribbean group. But don't expect it to be a walk in the park. You have to play, you have to perform to get out of the group, because Curacao is an emerging team. Trinidad and Tobago is a good team, but they are a notch below their best at the moment. Bermuda is also a team that we can't take lightly as well. So again, don't diss the Caribbean counterparts, because they can spring surprises. I've been in love talk about this cliche, the ball is round, which I don't know what that really means, but I won't say the ball is round. All I will say, football don't play on paper, it's played on the pitch. Alright, so I won't say the ball is round, but football don't play on paper. Alright, so thanks for your company again, and I hope you enjoyed today's show. So thanks for watching, and have yourselves a wonderful day.